I guess some of you guys wanted some patch notes and my opinions on them. I'll do a deep dive video later, but this is just a cursory one, and I'm going to try to hit it as quick as possible. So we're going to start out by the fact that these are just general balance adjustments, not directed specifically at PvP. More on that later. Balance adjustments are plain to see, but what you have here in general is a large make melee better patch. So things like the hammer were nerfed, but things like the laser blade, the laser lance, which is kind of shocking to me, and the oscillator got a whole bunch of good stuff. Better cooling, decreased end load, increased attack power, cumulative impact, PA interference. You get the idea. Just across the board, they're doing better. Then you have things like the Curtis, increased projectile speed, decreased recoil, long since needed. Machine gun like the, let's see, which one are we talking about here? The Ludlow, the Chang Chin, the Etsugen. The Etsugen got nerfed, needed it. I mean, it was way too good. The Chang Chin got buffed, the Ludlow got buffed. And this is kind of our back and forth. We have the Ducat, which, again, increased attack power, impact, accumulative impact, magazine rounds, total rounds. That's going to make this a contender for the pistol category, but I don't think it's going to make it the best one. Decreased weight and load on the Little Gem. Again, not shocking. And you're going to see this, like I said, you're going to see these trend, like decreased weight across the thing here. The stun bomb launcher, not sure what's going on with this, but increased reload time? I don't know. Decreased weight, pretty significant if I remember right. Laser rifle, increased attack power. We didn't need this. We didn't need this. We did not need any of this. Laser shotgun. This thing needed a lot of love, and now it's decent. Laser handgun. I mean, I guess. Increased projectile speed on this is actually noticeable and relatively significant, but again, we'll come back to a lot of these changes here in a minute. Coral rifle, increased attack heat buildup, projectile speed. So you're going to see that across the board going down here, like I said earlier. And with all the guns, you just have either increased power and like Titan spread, you have other stuff going on, and most of it is just to make them perform better. The incidents that aren't that are just nerfed specifically, and they're all stuff you would expect, except the therapist, which I don't know why. Missiles are kind of in the same boat. Decreased homing time, decreased reload time, you get the idea. Decreased homing lock time, weight. Okay. Now, frame parts, it's going to be more of the same. You're going to see a lot of increased attitude stability, system recovery, and scan distance. You're going to see a lot of increased AP. And it just trends on down until you get to the decreased section. I don't even think it's in the heads. I think the heads are just like universally buffed. And they needed it. A lot of the heads didn't make any sense to run. We're going to get down to the cores, and we're going to still be in the crease section. One of my viewers specifically asked me about the bash shell. I have not looked at the numbers of this yet. But I should, because it was a decent core before, and now it might be even better. It's kind of like the other version of the Knockdriver core. But again, we got increased AP and stability across the Melander. The C3 has just everything better. Now here's the first one. Decreased generator supply adjust. You're going to see this trend too. Anything that's mid or light usually got better. Anything that's heavy got worse, with a couple of exceptions. VP40S, increased generator output adjust, needed, increased AP generator output, increased melee specialization. Now, across the arms, this is what you're going to see. With the exception, apparently, of increased melee specialization on the Tan Lao, and please forgive me for these pronunciations because they're not going to be great. Decreased AP firearm specialization. I mean, with the increased melee, at least gives them a heavyweight arm that does actual melee now. So Fat Bros can do the melee thing without having to go basho arms. That's a plus. And again, you can see this just across the board. And you get interesting things like decreased inload on some, but for the most part, it is what it is. Legs are a weird one. You got increased jump distance across the lights, and some of the mid weights. Also needed. Not sure the knock dryer needed that. It was not good beforehand. It is not good now. Yeah, not 100% sure about this either, but I guess. The dessert, decreased AP energy. Again, you're going to see this kind of across the board. Increased jump distance on the Firmeza, the Alba, the Ephemera. Reverse joint, the Kassar, increased load limit. Shrug. The Spring Chicken, increased attitude stability. It absolutely did not need that. And you'll see a video of mine later on in a week or two when the actual current patch is up on the thing that will show you a good chunk of why that's not something that needed to happen. Lammergeier, decreased attitude stability. It's not that big of a deal. Reduced max movement speed while hovering. Also not that big of a deal. Tested via a friend of mine who said it was roughly between 10 and 20 speed units. So there it is. This is better. I don't know that it's good, but it is certainly improved. Inner parts. So again, same thing. Melee attack, thrust, etc. You're going to see this go down the list. The Berzio got some quick boost in consumption. It's not as good as it was pre-nerf, but of course not. We also didn't get the speed back. Booster, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or the 45 as a lot of people call it. Increased AB thrust. I don't think it's going to matter. The Gridwalker, this is pretty big as well, because this thing is now just generally a good booster. This finally got that fixed, so the AB thrust on that booster is good. Abbott, increased close range assist, medium range assist. Now this is kind of another across-the-board fix. A lot of the FCSs you saw not getting any use because they just didn't have the numbers to back up what they did. These guys, look at that. It's all pretty much the same thing. Speaking of which, finally the nerf it needed. Took them long enough. That said, the rest of this is generators, and realistically speaking, they all get, again, more of the same. You have the Yaba, increased energy capacity recharge, Hokushi, capacity recharge, Ling Tai, increased capacity, Ming Tang, increased across the board. Santai got super nerfed. I say super nerfed. It got nerfed pretty bad. It's less good at what it did. The generator VP20S, increased energy capacity, recharge, and output. And again, look down the list. The VP20D got energy firearm spec, which it needed. And the VE20A got a big buff across the board as well because it was never seeing use. The NGI triple aught, or 000, whatever you want to call it, it got the nerf I'm kind of surprised about, but I guess that was causing more problems. So From had to do something about it. Now, there's a bunch of other stuff down here, but I'm pretty sure this is not what we care about because I'm gonna go back onto what I said initially when this video was first done. We'll hit these real quick. So if you got AC related fixes, fix the issue that occurs when equipping a chargeable shoulder mounted weapon and pressing the shift control button while being staggered, resulting in an attack following the initial stagger. Do not incur a heavy stagger state on the player. So those toggle escapes essentially are no longer a thing. Fix the issue where players guarding button before staggered would cause the same thing as this, essentially. If I'm reading that right, it could be completely wrong. Fix the issue where hits would sometimes not register when attacking enemies using pulse armor, terminal armor with a melee weapon. I mean, yeah, but judging from my ranked matches today, that glitch has now gone on to be in guys who are in assault boost coming straight at you Good luck. Fixed the issue that caused melee attacks to not connect with enemies due to interaction with walls and terrain. This has been a long time coming. Been needing this on a lot of different melee stuff, so good to see. Fixed the issue that caused player AC to continuously float up. That's enough. Online match fixes in ranked matches. The change to S ranking, so you basically don't get yeeted out of it the moment you get there and lose a few. Yeah, that too. System fixes, fixing it caused game to crash. Version, yeah, alternate. So basic details and the classic other bug fixes and improvements I don't feel like mentioning. So I'm gonna give you guys my take on this as a cursory day one. This will be an unusually scheduled video. This is not going up to any of my normal time, so I'm sorry about that. But this patch addressed a lot of my complaints with the middle tier of the game. A lot of the build stuff is now fixed or is like mostly dealt with. But it did absolutely nothing for the meta of the game. And if I'm wrong about that, I'll be happy to eat those words. But from what I've seen thus far, the best things are still the same things that were beforehand. Because it's an inherent design flaw, not a balancing issue. Now, that said, you can expect more of the same on the channel as I do more ranked and I do more closed versus. But realistically speaking, unless From wants to dig in and fix the actual problems with the game, it's not going to get much better than this. And I've seen a few people comment, maybe they should fix the servers. That'd fix a lot of problems. Judging from what I've seen today, I'd totally buy that. But it's not the only problem, and the game is flawed at almost an onset. Part of the ACS system is to blame for that. If you're going to give us the ACS system in multiplayer, just take away the extra damage or something. Or the stun, or I don't know. Because at this point, it's gotten to the point where it is ridiculous. It's probably been there for a long time, and I've just never really harped on it, because I don't like doing that, but it is silly. So, also, take a look at the defensive numbers on everything, because those are definitely not good. That's my take on the Day 1 patch. I'm glad they did it, but I really wish they had done more to severely nerf the things that caused the game to be a problem overall. I'm not going to get into that here. It would take 20 minutes. Thanks for listening to me ramble, guys. Hopefully you're having a good time with this. I'll try to get another video out on this, on the changes I like, and kind of what's going on with the meta after it develops. It'll take a little while, but I'll get it done at some point. See you soon.